Hey Radiant Souls, welcome back to my channel. I'm a little caught off guard because as soon as I started to record this, the printer, which is off to my left, just clicked on and started making all kinds of noise. So I guess it's happy that it has some company in the room today. I don't know what that was, but it scared me and I jumped. So anyway, you would think being a psychic medium, things wouldn't startle me, but you'd be wrong. So, but it was also very funny. So I was asking my guides, what can I share with my community today? And I think I'm gonna try to do some more of this type of video for you guys. Just what is relevant for you today? What resonates with you? What does somebody need to hear? You know, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I see that on a lot of like TikTok videos. So taking my cue from the youth. So today the image that I got was that of a library. And for me, that's a really fun image because I grew up in a family of readers. I am an avid reader. It is not at all uncommon for me to have, I don't know, 6 or 7 books going all at once. I don't like to go start to finish through a book. I like to keep them all kind of going like pots on a stove that I keep stirring. I like to pull a little wisdom from one and then let it sit and then check in on something else. So like this weekend, for example, I will have finished 3 books that I started yesterday because I'm going bit by bit in each of them and bouncing around through all of them. So maybe you're like that too. I know I've heard from a lot of you that we are somehow like collectively buying all of the books. Like there's this mass kind of need to soak in knowledge. So that's not where I'm going with the library analogy though, but that's what came to mind for me. Super, super happy. I also worked at the library in 6th or 7th grade, something like that. Maybe all 3, maybe 6th, 7th, and 8th. All 3 years at that same school. Oh, the Dewey Decimal System is such a fun way to organize things. Anyway, beyond the scope of our discussion here. But I wanted to just let you in on a little bit of how the messages come to me. So I sent out the query to my intuition, to my guides, to anyone who wanted to step forward and assist what might be the message that someone needs to hear today. And so it is the message of a library, but we're gonna dissect that a little bit further. So my dog's trying to come in. Come on, buddy. I swear, today is the day of like this room scaring me, apparently. So we all have stories that we tell about ourselves, no question. What the guidance is for today is, can you look at that library that you carry about yourself and about the others in your life? Can you look at that information, that stack of books, and can you picture it like a stack of books that you checked out from the library? I don't even know that people really do that very often anymore. Used to be a weekly thing for me and I loved it. So instead we're just buying them all, I guess, like I said earlier. But think of all the different stories that you tell yourself. So that could be beliefs you have about yourself. That could be events that have occurred in your life or that you may even say happened to you. It could be beliefs you have about other people, beliefs you have about other things in the world. Just kind of from a place of neutrality. Think about all the things that you have in your personal library. And then the guidance was to follow that imagery of it being a stack of library books. What's overdue? What do you keep extending your rental on? What do you keep checking out again and again and again? And is it that old book with the tattered pages that are torn or bent down at the corners? And is that still relevant for you? Because we're coming to a point in time where there are abundant, limitless opportunities. There always are, but there's some kind of collective energy of renewal. And we can't add more things to our plate if we don't clear some of this stuff out. And I think in my book, Hey Radiant Souls, there's a line that says, like, you can't color on the page unless you have some blank space to do so. I think I said it a little bit better than that, but I might not have. But that's kind of the thing we're going with. What can you put down in order to pick something else up? So it might be an opportunity that you classified as being too much for you, not the right fit for you, that you weren't the right lead character in that particular story at that time. And maybe you keep checking that book out and you keep telling yourself that story. That's the bedtime story you read to yourself. But you've changed and you've grown. So when you go back and look at opportunities that have passed you by or that you've said no to, or things that you've said yes to and committed to that may not be the right fit now, what's out there that you can put down? What's out there that you could possibly pick up? Are your stories still relevant for you? Now, sometimes when we go digging through our stories, we also see how we have written out other characters, and we do this to ourselves too. Maybe, you know how sometimes in a story, this is what I want to say. Sometimes in a story, you feel like the villain is the villain and you read all these things at the beginning and then you get toward the end of the book and you realize, oh, the villain was actually pretty heroic. We do that with ourselves and we do that with other people sometimes. So is there a different angle, a different perspective, a different way you can write a story, or a different way you can describe yourself or someone else as it relates to events that you've shared together? And maybe there isn't. Maybe you keep a pretty clean slate. You don't get those overdue fees from the library because you're keeping kind of current with things, and that's great. But because we all lead emotionally heavy lives and busy lives, sometimes things just get accumulated and they pile up and it's time to refresh. So if that sounds like you, if you're saying, you know, there's probably some things I could let go. I could stop telling myself, you know, I missed that job because I made the wrong decision, or I zigged when I should have zagged. Maybe you were supposed to zig and it's just your imagination or it's just your willingness to put yourself down that says you did something wrong. So look under those books, the book jacket that gives the little summary information. Look a little deeper into your stories and see if there's something you can let go. So a little activity to guide you through this today. I want you to, while you're thinking of what stories have I been telling myself, what might be overdue, what might I want to check out that's new? Maybe there's a sequel to something. Maybe there's a prequel that you weren't considering. Could go either way. But I want you to start by, first of all, setting your intent that thinking through these things, I'm not going to relive them. I'm coming at it from a place of neutrality for my highest and best good. And I am divinely protected and guided while I do this work. So that's your intention. And then I want you to just imagine breathing at a very comfortable pace for you, but breathing from the space of your heart, as if every breath coming in is coming right into the space of your heart. And when you exhale that breath, it builds a personal sphere of light around you. And this is your radiant light. This is your divine wisdom. This is your innate GPS. It's your intuition. It's your frequency. And it is beautiful. It is glistening and sparkling. And it is playful and imaginative. And it is also protective. So every breath into the heart space, every breath out makes that sphere larger and larger and larger. And then once you're feeling the ooey gooey goodness of sitting in that space, start to think about a couple of those stories. You don't have to go through the whole list, but what may no longer be serving you? What could you check back into the library? So that's it for today. Just a little imagery, a little guided activity. If no one's told you today, you are spectacular, and I love you. Have an amazing day.